Now let's welcome in Matt Doyle, Stu Holden. Matt Doyle from MLSsoccer.com, Stu Holden, lead game analyst from Fox Sports. Stu, I want to start with you. We just had Josh Sargent, Tyler Adams, Gio Reyna on. Bundesliga kicks off this weekend. From an American point of view, in your mind, what's the biggest storyline in that league this year?
Gio Reyna. I look at Gio's, his progression over the last year, and almost in a Pulisic way, in the way that once he got involved in the first team, just the way that he gained confidence, the way he's gained minutes, being able to produce with some high-quality Champions League games last season, assists and goals in the Pokal. And then you look at this year already, he's in the starting lineup. He's got the trust of his coach, and I think this is a big year for Gio Reyna. And we're going to see him get his first national team cap whenever the national team do play again. So I really think that's one to follow, because once again, Dortmund are going to compete for a title, and you're going to have a young American prospect starting at a team that is going to be competing for the Bundesliga. So that is absolutely massive, and one that I'm following.
Stu, for the national team, where do you see Gio Reyna playing?
Man, I think you play him on the opposite flank from a Christian Pulisic. So, maybe Pulisic on the left, Gio Reyna on the right. It does, I think, give Gregg Berhalter questions about what system he's going to play and the little tweaks he has within that, because you could also play Gio as one of the two advanced midfielders, the 2 10s that he plays within, kind of interchanging him wide. Gio Reyna's so good when he can find the ball between the seams. He can turn, he can play passes, he can get on the end of crosses. So I think something that gives him flexibility to do both, TT, because I don't see him as a guy that's going to play wide and beat guys off the dribble continuing like a Pulisic, but he's a really smart player with a great physical engine, a great pass and a great shot. So you find a way for him. I think right now, if Gio Reyna gets another 10, 15 games in the Bundesliga starting, he should be starting for the national team. Yep,
couldn't agree more. Matt, you know where I'm going with this. From the national team perspective, the Bundesliga angle, Josh Sargent, the evolution of him, he has to show somewhat of an improvement. I think he was unfairly judged a little bit last year. I think Stu did a good job on their coverage. I mean, Werder Bremen was playing with 15 guys behind the ball, and then you're expecting him to score goals. Am I wrong to think that Josh Sargent's the most important thing in that league right now for the U.S.?
I don't think you are. And with all due respect to Gio Reyna and all the stuff that Stu said about him, he could potentially solve some problems at a couple of spots. But, the big problem for the U.S. national team right now is scoring those goals and understanding who's going to be Jozy's successor. Because Jozy isn't what he was 2 or 3 years ago. And even then, clearly it wasn't good enough. We didn't make the World Cup. So Josh Sargent has to become the type of guy who not necessarily build the attack around, but who can finish these teams off, who could at the very least go out there and smash Honduras when we need to smash Honduras, who could take care of Guatemala, who could step up in these big games. That said, you have to keep an eye on Tyler Adams, because one of the things that Gregg Berhalter has always wanted is that quarterback style number 6. Yep. And we've seen it with Will Trapp and Michael Bradley and now Jackson Ewell, and those are all good players, and I'm very high on Ewell, but we all know he is not going to be the type of defensive presence at that position that Tyler Adams can be. Berhalter's been a little reluctant to use Tyler Adams there. Well, where's Tyler Adams playing now? He's actually as a 6 or even dropping into the back line and hitting those diagonals and quarterbacking the game. That is something we've never seen from him before. That could be huge for the national team.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.